Welcome. Welcome to Nasik Tuition Prasarak Mandal Nasik. My school is State BL Sada Vidyalay, Sinnar. My school is Sinnar. My subject is General Science. I am teaching General Science for 6th standard and my name is Srimati Smita Ashok Patel. Now, today we are going to learn about the characteristics in a living thing. Here there is a picture for you. You can see in this picture there is a tree. Then girl is reading something, boy is carrying a kite, dog is there, hen is there with her chicks, ball is there, then you can see a bucket, in the house you can see a lamp, all these things you can see. But in this picture, if we observe minutely, some things can move on their own. And the things which can move on their own, according to their own accord, that things are called living things. And the things which cannot move on their own. That means box cannot move on its own, ball cannot move on its own, then bucket cannot move on its own because they are non-living things. So how we can classify living things and non-living things? The things which can move on their own are called living things and the things which cannot move on their own are called non-living things. So now we are going to see what are the characteristics of living things. And the first characteristic is a cellular structure. Observe these two diagrams. Where you can see this diagram? You can see this diagram. First one you can see in the wall. Here the bricks are arranged in a proper way. These bricks you can see in a wall. Similarly, this is the honeycomb of a honey. Like that, in our body, our cellular structure, that means our cells are stick to each other. We have a cellular structure. Like that, non-living things do not have a cellular structure. Their structure is made up of particles. So the living things which are made up of single cell are called unicellular animals, and the living things which are made up of many cells are called multicellular animals. So we are multicellular animals because in our body there are many cells. Similarly, unicellular animals like amoeba, paramecium are unicellular animals. So the living things include plants as well as animals. We can see there are some characteristics. In that we have already seen the cellular structure. Having a cellular structure is characteristics of living thing. The animals which have a single cell are amoeba, yeast, paramecium. They have single cells, so they are called unicellular animals. And horse, parrot and man, they have many cells in them, so they are multicellular animals. But remember, non-living things do not have a cellular structure. They are made up of particles. So on basis of this, we can differentiate between unicellular animals and multicellular animals. Some living things are made of single cell. These are called unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium or yeast. Then multicellular animals like the living things that are made up of many cells. They are called multicellular animals. So man, cow, house, cockroach, elephants, banyan tree, onion plant, they all are made up of many cells. So they are called multicellular animals. So the second characteristics in the living thing is the movement. Movement is very important in the living things. So we all can move. So I can move from one place to the another. You all can move from one place to the another. Animals can move from one place to the another, like that. Plants also move. But you will say that plants don't change their place. Then how they can move? They move. They move towards the sunlight. If we keep a potted plant in our house, it turns itself towards the sunlight and it moves towards the sunlight. Similarly, in search of water also, the roots of the plants moves. But non-living things do not move on their own. When we will pick them, at that time only non-living thing can move. That means movement is an important characteristic in the living thing. Now we will see the next characteristics in the living thing. Now see, You can see the differences between these adults in this picture. Here you can see the dog, a boy, girl, then there is a chick, there is a plant. As the time passes, as the time moves, you can see the change in them. Then what happens in this picture? In this picture, the growth has been taken place. So, the growth is an important characteristics in the living thing. It is very important. You also, when you are in the first standard, you are very small. Now you are in the sixth standard, you are very big. Your shape has changed, your face has changed. That means the growth has taken place in your body. But have you seen any change in the chair in your house? Have you seen any change in your TV or in your compass box when you use for 1 year? No, it doesn't grow. It has same height. So, more we will see about the growth. Here, there are two saplings. Here, the first one, I have kept a pot and I have tied a thread to it. Now, this thread is very tight. When we will give this pot water for 1 to 10 days, 1 or 2 and 3 or 7 days, at that time what happens? This plant or this sapling will start grow. When it will start grow, slowly what will happen? The thread which we have tied tightly, it will become loose. Then what this thing will tell us? What this thing tells us? That the growth has taken place in a plant. So, not only growth takes place in human being or animals, but it also takes place in a plant. So, see here, this is a banyan tree and coconut tree. First, the banyan tree, there is the sapling of banyan tree and coconut tree. Slowly it has started growing. So, finally it has grown up into a big tree. So, like this, growth takes place in the plants. Now, we will see what is necessary for the growth. Then for the growth, food is necessary for the growth. Then we need food. When we eat food, then only growth takes place. For that, like that, plants also need food. So how plants can prepare their food? We prepare our food, our mother cooks for us. But how plants prepare their food? Then plants also prepare their food. Plants prepare their food with the help of water and nutrients from the soil and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. You have seen that each and every plant is green in color. Why it happens? Because there is a presence of chlorophyll, and only due to the presence of chlorophyll, plants can prepare their food. So, with the help of water and nutrients from the soil and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, plants prepare their food. And when they prepare their food, they store that food in the stem or in the leaves and they release oxygen. So, like this process happens in the plant, and this process is nothing but, this process is called photosynthesis. So, like that, animals also need food to grow. So, here is a bird catching fish, hens are searching for their food. You can see that the tiger had catched its prey. How horse is eating grass. So, these all needs food for their growth. If they don't take food, they will die. So, to survive and for growth, we need food. So, intake of food and resultant growth is also an important characteristics in the living thing. But have you seen any time chair eating food? No, we have not seen chair eating food. The next important characteristics is respiration. So, what do you have to do first? Close your nose for 15 seconds. Will you able to breathe? No, you will not be able to breathe. You will feel uneasy. Why this happens? Because respiration is very important in the living things. We respire with the help of our windpipe, trachea, lungs, nose and mouth. So, with the help of lungs and all these things, we respire. But how the fish respires? it respires with the help of its skin in the water. Then plants, respiration also takes place in the plants also. How it is? If you observe this diagram, in this diagram there are tiny pores. Here you can see the tiny pores, and with the help of this tiny pores, here you can see that plants carry out their respiration. So even the plants release oxygen in the air, but for respiration, plants also require oxygen. So each and every living thing requires oxygen for respiration. So like this, respiration is also important characteristics in a living thing. But have you seen frog? Frog respires in water also and on the land also. When it is on the land, it respires with the help of lungs. When it is in the water, it respires with the help of its skin. So like this respiration process takes place in our body, and it is very important characteristic. This you cannot see in the non-living thing. The next important characteristics of living thing is excretion. What is excretion? Excretion means throwing out the waste product from our body. Then plants also throw waste product from their body. How we can do that? See here the girl, what she is doing? She is tying a carry bag to a leaf of a plant. What she will observe, or what we can do? We can also do like this. So when we will tie a carry bag to a leaf of a plant, and when the plant throws out this waste product with the help of leaf or in the form of vapor, that vapors will be collected here, and when that vapors will cool down, you can see the droplets of water on the carry bag. So plants excrete unwanted substances in the form of vapor. We, the animals, we are a kind of animal. Human being is also an animal, or other animals throw their waste product with the help of their excretory organs. So here you can see a large intestine and small intestine. With the help of that, we throw out the waste product. And when the plants throw their waste product in the leaves, when the leaf is full of waste product, then that leaf automatically falls down from the plant. So the process of passing out waste and unwanted substances from the body is called excretion. Like this, excretion takes place in living thing. Have you seen any non-living thing doing excreta? No, you have not seen. Here you can see that as the time passes, the plant stores the waste product in the leaves. As they store, when the leaves are full of waste product, they falls down and down and down. And after some days, new leaves grow on the plant. So that is where substances are formed during the many processes that takes place in the bodies of animals, and these are called excreta, and the process of eliminating them from the body is called excretion. Animals have specific organs for excretion, plants do not have, so they store their waste product in the leaves. So excretion also is an important characteristic in the living things. Now let us see the next important characteristics of the living thing is responsiveness to stimuli. Yes, when we respond to someone else, that means we show the responsiveness to stimuli. How this happens? When we prick someone or something comes before our eyes, what we do? We close our eyes. Then why we do this? Because we give immediate response. Similarly, plants also give response. How they give? Here this is a mimosa plant. Mimosa, in Marathi you can say लाजोळचं झाड. This mimosa plant, when we touch this mimosa plant, what they do? They close their leaves. Why? Because the sense organ is developed in them and they shows the response. What response they shows? They close their leaves. This is the response in the mimosa plant. In the potted plant, they grow towards the sunlight. That means that is the response shown by the plants to the sunlight. So like this, you can show the responsiveness to stimuli and the movements takes place in them. The movements or the change taking place in living things at such time is the response to stimuli, and an event that occurs in our surrounding is stimulus, and the ability of living thing to respond respond to stimuli is called responsiveness to stimuli. So this is an important characteristics. Here you can see mimosa plant before touch and mimosa plant after touch. Here you can see when it is raining, a rabbit is running towards its house, means it is showing response to the rains. Here a lady, when she touches a hot pan, what she is doing? Is she handling that? No, she takes her hand away. Here you can see when the girl, she is touching a toaster, her finger burns, so she remove her finger. At the same time, when mother keeps a ladder in the utensil and we touch that, we also take away our hand. So like this, responsiveness to stimuli is also an important characteristics in living thing. Here you can see the next characteristics in the living thing is the reproduction. What is reproduction? When the living thing produces another living thing like itself, this characteristics is called reproduction. Can we see these characteristics in the living thing? No, we are not able to see these characteristics in living thing because chair cannot produce itself a new chair, or we are not able to see any compass producing another compass because they all are non-living thing. But living thing can give birth to their other living thing, their young ones. So the process by which a living thing generates a new living thing like itself is called reproduction or procreation. Here you can see a bird gives birth to the egg. Here it is a bryophyllum. Bryophyllum means Brahman. Come on. When we put the leaf of the bryophyllum, it starts growing, means reproduction takes in there. A mare and her foal. You can see here is the horse and its foal. Then rose cutting. All the time we don't need to buy a rose plant. When we take a stem of the rose plant and we bury it into the earth, from that rose stem also new plant can occur. Here you can see a hen giving birth to the egg. Here you can see pig giving birth to their young ones and a human being giving birth to the baby. That means reproduction is an important characteristic in living thing, and these characteristics we are not able to see in non-living thing. Now, what is the next one characteristics? Definite lifespan. Yes, we all have definite lifespan. We cannot live for 1,000 and 1,000 years because we are the living things. Why this happens? Because as we grow up, as we use our organs daily, the cells in the organs becomes older and older, and at a final stage what happens? At a final stage life comes to an end. That means we die. Here you can see, or sometimes we can say, when I was very young, this plant used to give many fruits. Now this plant is not able to give fruits. Why this happens? Because as the day passes, the plant also becomes older and older. Here you can see, as the day passes, the plant has grown into the older. Here you can see a goat. As the time passes, the goat also grows into the older. Like that, human being can also grow into the old. Yes, first we were child. Now we are grown up, and further we will turn into an old person. So like this, the changes takes place. Each and every living thing have to die one day, because all the time we are using the organs, and when we are using the organs, the cells in the organs becomes older and older, and life comes to an end. So we, the human being, also die. Similarly, each and every living thing has a definite lifespan. If we see a dog have a lifespan about 12 to 18 years, then ostrich lives for 50 years, then butterfly lives for 14 days, and elephant lives for how many days? 70 to 90 years. Like this, there is a definite lifespan. Now you can see this picture. In this picture you can see different living things. These are the different living things, and these different living things, in these different living things, mango tree, dog, potato, rat, that all we are not using. Some living things we are using, because they are useful for us, and some living things we are not using because they are poisonous, so they are harmful to us. Here you can see Dhotra, it is poisonous plant. Colocasia, sometimes this happens. What it happens when we eat this, there is a itching in our throat. Here we can't eat rat and spider or a lizard. They are poisonous and they are harmful for us. So living things which are useful for us, the medicinal plants we are using that are useful for us, that living things are called useful living things. And the living things which are harmful for us, that are called harmful living things. So for you I have given a differentiation between useful living thing and harmful living thing. Here the plants are used for household purposes, for industrial purposes, for medicinal purposes. That plants are useful plants. Similarly, the animals are used for household purposes. They are useful animals. So the living things are useful, but some are poisonous. They spread diseases. They destroy our food. They are poisonous. So such living things are called what? Harmful living things. Similarly, here you can see there are many plants like Dhotra plant. It is a poisonous. Then uncontrolled growth of fungi and algae in water pollutes the drinking water. So fungi, algae, what they do? They waste our water. They spread diseases. So they are harmful living things. Not only this, but we also have wild animals around us. Now what happens? Day by day population increases. As the population is increasing, we are cutting forest. And due to deforestation, what happens? Due to deforestation, these animals do not have their houses. As they do not have their houses, where they go? They come in our cities. And what they do? They kill domestic animals, or sometimes even people also. So the wild animals that hunt other animals for their food are called predators. They are the predators because they require other animals for food. But if there are no other animals, they come into the cities due to deforestation and they enter the human settlements and kill domestic animals and people for their food. So wild animals are very dangerous. So what we should do? We should not cut their forest, and so that they can remain in the forest. So like this, in this lesson, what we have learned? We have learned the important characteristics of living thing. What were there? First, it was cellular structure. Then we have seen that after cellular structure, what we have seen? We have seen that reproduction, respiration, then we have seen that definite lifespan. All these are the characteristics of living things, and you should all know this. These characteristics are not seen in the non-living things. Thank you students for listening. Thank you very much.